collective. Brand new retrospective, don't like the way I spit. Find a way to go address it. Flow tighter than the leggings on your woman, don't forget it. My name is with some mentions. My game is more than inches. Trying to keep up on the sidelines. Don't trip up on no landmines like you do every damn time. I'm that guy that you can't find. Water, can I swallow the sign? That is from mankind. Got my hands on the grand prize. How my haters suffer landslide. Damn, I'm antagonized over stuff that is just fraction size. Not affected by subtraction size. Run my numbers and my match is fine. I really need a map to find my final destination. Me on stage with a standing ovation. Now just clap it like a silver Heidi Cook. Underdogs go on top, high the mighty going loose. Mic check, 1, 2, all the artists pay.
Hello world, I go by the name of Joffey Joe, and this is the show, Call It How I See It. And on today's episode, I got a couple of teams I want to talk to you all about. First and foremost, the NBA season has concluded. I have Glenn Pratt and Kenny Blake in the house, and we're going to talk about the NBA Finals and how it wrapped up. Don't want to miss out on that take. Secondly, I have Valo back in the house as us, as Sixers fans, talk about the Sixers taking VJ Edgecombe in the draft. Yes, I can definitely say I'll give it a chance, but my friend Valo might have to say some things that are different, so you don't want to miss out on that. And finally, UFC International Fight Week is here, and we got Carlo in the house to talk about it, so you don't want to miss out on what he's going to say about this too. So it's going to be an action-packed episode, and you don't want to miss out on anything we're about to say. Hello world, yes, we're back this week as the NBA Finals has concluded and the NBA season has concluded, and we saw the Oklahoma City Thunder win the championship. Yes, the youngest team in the NBA was able to conquer the NBA and win it in a Game 7 with a little bit of dramatic pizzazz and thrown into it, but they did it. They won. The best team that was in the NBA all year finally was able to be crowned champions. But I have you two here as we're going to recap what we saw in Game 7 and kind of talk about what happened in the series a little bit. But I want to introduce the world who I have here. And how you doing, G? I'm going to start with you.
I hear from Joffey. It's time to call it how I see it. Get excited. Let's do it.
Let's do it. And welcome back to the show, Kenny. How you doing over there?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be on another episode with the best, Joffey Joe.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you back on, Kenny. It's good to see you back on. Yeah. So let's dive into what we saw in Game 7. It was a back-and-forth battle until really the third quarter. Third quarter they kind of pulled away. We saw, we saw OKC just kind of show why they were the better team overall. But, I believe a lot of us would kind of have the what-if game here. We're going to play the what-if game where, what if Tyrese Halliburton didn't get hurt in this? Would there actually be a changing of the needle? Would this game been a lot different? Who knows? But I want to see what you guys think about that. So I'll start with you, G. Do you think the Pacers could have pulled it off if Halliburton was healthy?
No, listen. It didn't matter whether he was playing or not. Listen, I said that throughout the whole series.
Yeah.
Halliburton's good. He's a good player.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that they lost by, did they play 16? Right, 12?
12.
12, right, okay. So, no, I still don't think they win. I still think OKC wins the game. So, Halliburton, like I said, is a good player. He affects me. He gives them a little bump, but I still don't think they had enough overall. I just think OKC was the better team. I had them winning in 4. So, you got stretched out to 7. Give props. I'm going to give them their flowers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Indiana made it a lot more competitive than I thought.
Right.
So I'll give them their but no. Same result.
I hear that. I do. For the most part, the plus-minus with him and TJ McConnell, honestly, when they're running the point, it kind of is not that much of a difference. What I found really interesting, just because of the adjustment factor, he kind of used Nembhard, the 2-guard, to really handle the ball handling, and I think that's where things kind of started, going down a little bit. We saw McConnell provide that spark again. He put up buckets and stuff, especially in the third quarter. He kind of kept them in the game. But honestly, kind of when he came out because of foul trouble and other stuff that was going on, you saw Nembhard kind of take over turnovers and bad stuff happening. There was also stuff that happened when McConnell was in there with turnovers and stuff, and the league started getting away from them, and they weren't able to climb back into that game. So it's a lot. It's tough when, you have, I guess, I wouldn't say best player because I think Siakam's their best player, but, I think it's tough, to not have the guy that controls, it's tough when you're trying to drive your car and you really don't have your real driver driving the car. That's what I'm trying to get.
There's something to be said for that, man. No, there's something to be said for his presence on the court.
Yeah.
No question.
Too, No,
He
I'm
was
sorry.
on fire.
He was. That's what I'm saying. Like
Listen,
in those
that
7
was a
minutes, he
great
had
game.
9 points. It looked like it was gonna be oh shit, maybe like what I mean he's gonna unleash and maybe, but it just we all saw that snap of the Achilles, which we hate to see. But it's really crazy to think even now in like what's going on. We saw Tatum, even like Damian Lillard. Like I mean these guys are like popping their Achilles, and we're just kind of looking at it's sending shockwaves into next year.
Some guy tried to attribute that to low top sneaks.
Okay,
I don't know. Some dude did this little thing I saw. He showed Kobe when he did it, and he showed his low tops, and then they were showing a bunch of different guys. All these guys wear low tops now. I was thinking the same thing. Durant,
yes,
all of them, but
Thompson too.
I was wondering if there's any reason for it, man. I mean, you know how many times they do that movement throughout their warm ups, and then what takes that one? I mean, makes you wonder what it is, man. It is a serious thing. We're talking about guys missing seasons.
I know, dude. This really changes the landscape of next year coming in.
Absolutely.
It really does. Kenny, I didn't forget about you over there. I want to dive in and hear what you have to say about Halliburton.
I feel like Halliburton was a good piece for that offense. The chemistry would have been perfect if they would have if he was on the floor. But I feel like they would have been productive on offense. But I think if they would have let his minutes restrict to at least like minimum 20 or like start off the bench maybe. But after the third quarter, like they kind of lost hope of their offensive playmaking. But their turnovers kind of was a big issue with them.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, no, go ahead. I'm sorry, jump in. Go ahead.
That's okay. Despite what OKC, they lost. They was missing free throws, but they ended up falling out and winning the championship.
Right.
So,
but they were able to prevail given everything. But no, the turnovers were huge, especially in the third quarter. I mean, I don't think OKC had any turnovers, and I think that was really what helped propel them, especially with a couple runs that they had with fast breaks and stuff. But it's tough because there's always gonna be an asterisk now, especially with Pacers fans because they always have their heart ripped out and stuff. So, but I think at the end of the day, the best team won, and we all saw that, and the best team all year really prevailed, and we kind of expected that. But kudos for Indiana for making a series out of it, and it's a shame that they're gonna have to deal with this moving forward with the whole Halliburton thing. I really kind of don't expect them to play at all next year. I think, just because of the timing of this injury and everything moving forward, it's gonna be really tough. I mean,
Tatum too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Won't play at all.
These guys are still young, and you'd be really rolling the dice if you really try to get them out there as soon as you could. So there's a time and place for things, but sometimes recovery, especially with an injury in basketball like this, it definitely needs to be healed, and takes time to really get back to where you need to be. So we're gonna see how that turns out.
It seems like Durant's back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Talking about people with that injury. I mean, Durant seems to be not limited.
Right.
Doesn't seem it. So, he is as old as he is. These guys are a little younger.
Right.
So I'm hoping Tatum can get back on the source. That's my man. You know that.
No, for sure. I mean, I think he'll come back and definitely, get back to where he was. Maybe even better. Who knows?
I think so, no doubt.
So, another thing I wanted to dive into as we're going to wrap up this take, I did want to say, I mean, we saw SGA, right? He won. And he won the MVP. He's actually did some real, he reached some real big accolades this year, and we kind of brushed it off. But to win Finals MVP, the MVP, the scoring title, that's stuff that Jordan, Kareem, that's what I'm saying. He's in an elite company doing this type of stuff, and I don't know if we're giving him enough credit. I don't know. A lot of people find I guess more that people watched him over time, especially in these playoffs. They kind of not really fucking with his game, I guess. Just because of the whole aspect of going to the rim and drawing fouls and stuff, which a lot of people don't like watching, and are it's becoming a reason why people are trying to back away from watching the NBA. But what I really want to say here is, do you guys feel like SGA is the new face of the NBA? I want to start with you, Kenny.
For me, I think nobody gave him credit for carrying the OKC. I know he was a young team, but nobody thought that he was going to be in the finals, and they accomplished the NBA finals. I know he's in his 7th season. I know a lot of people talking about, Anthony Edwards was the face of the league in the early season. I think he's up there. I think him and Edwards, I think they out there controlling the face of the season. Whenever LeBron's going his farewell tour this last season, I don't know if he's going to be playing the next 2 years, but I think the next couple of years he's going to be out there on his level and all that.
No, for sure. He definitely set the bar really high with this season that he did. I mean, a lot of people can even argue that he should have been the MVP last year, but he definitely came back this year and definitely solidified, I think, his resume right now. I mean, I wouldn't consider him the best player in the NBA right now. I still think that would be Jokic, which I think a lot of people consensually agree to. But I mean, I think he's definitely a good cornerstone piece to lead this new generation of the NBA, given everything going on. I mean, with these guys on the back burner of their career like LeBron, Steph, Durant. I mean, the NBA is begging for new faces to come in. But I mean, I definitely think that. What do you think about that, G?
Oh, listen, he's in the conversation. He can have a seat at the table. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, to me personally, when it comes to the face of the NBA, we're talking about who you know off the court. Excuse me, people know you off the court in commercials. That means a lot to me. And I think, to me personally, I think Tatum's the face of the league. I think Tatum, you see a lot. I think he's out there. I mean, he's won his championship. God, I hate that he got hurt. I really do. I know Boston was up against it, but damn, I just wish he would have been able to finish healthy. I think he's the face. I know Anthony Edwards is. They're all in the conversation.
Right.
To me, SGA is the most recent winner of the championship of the league.
Right.
Give him his props. He's in the conversation. So, but there's a few guys that are right there. You know, like I said, Anthony Edwards, and I'm a Jason Tatum guy. And, you know, Jokic is always going to be a mention. Wembanyama, you know, they want to make him international.
Yes.
So, you know, they want to make him big.
Right.
So they're all at the table.
I agree. I think, you know, the winning factor definitely matters, but I think you hit a really big, important point there, just in terms of, like, recognition. And, I mean, a lot of people look at SGA, they really didn't know who he was, honestly. But, he, you know, his actions on the court and his play really kind of elevated him to, you know, start getting noticed and recognition on that type of level. So I guess there's, like, an almost, like, we knew about him as fans last year, but on, like, a bigger scale, I think he showed that he can, like, you know, be put in that level where he can be considered a face. And so,
well, him and Chet are making commercials. I see them making it. I'm not sure exactly what they're for, but I know I've seen them. You know what I'm saying? In commercials together. So, I mean, so somebody is putting their face out there.
Right.
And I think that is a lot. When we think of Jordan, think about, was it, we know Nike was big, Gatorade. I want to say he was with McDonald's too. I'm not sure, but Jordan was all over. You know what I'm saying? When it came to the face of the league. So, and LeBron's followed suit. I mean, LeBron's all over TV. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, to me, the face of the league is.
No, for sure. And even like Kenny was saying, like, we recognize right now Anthony Edwards has a lot of, you know, commercials out there and stuff right now. So, like, you know, being put on that level and being advertised as, you know, I play in the NBA, and then you're trying to, like, reach out to different demographics and stuff like that. I mean, that's really, like, the bigger, larger scale of trying to connect. And
the casual fan.
Exactly. You know, you're drawing people in and stuff. But, like, you know, the NBA definitely needs to have some of these guys, like, be there in these next coming years, especially with these guys on the back burner. They need new faces. They need to pass the baton and, you know, lead the NBA in a new light and era. So we're going to see how things break down. But, you know, a team like the OKC Thunder is, you know, a prime example of that, though. You know, winning young, and their nucleus is going to stay intact for a little while. And we're going to see how, you know, they fine-tune things next year and try to, you know, defend their title. But all in all, it has been an interesting season for the most part.
Right. No doubt. The best team won.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But, guys, I appreciate you guys coming on and wrapping up the finals with me.
Oh, man, come on, man. Hearing from Joffey, time to call it how I see it. Can't get enough, man. Looking forward to the next run.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming on, G. And Kenny, I appreciate you coming back on. All right, guys. Until next time.
Yo, Joffey, get back. Be safe, man.
All right, guys.
All right. Yep.
And we're back, and we have a good friend of mine who hasn't been on a little while, but it's cool. He's been busy doing things, but I'm glad to have him back on the show. How you doing, Joe Valo? Terrible? Well, I guess we're going to go into detail why you feel so terrible. So, we have the NBA draft going on right now as we're recording this on a Wednesday night. But, us, as Sixers fans, we just watched VJ Edgecombe get drafted by the Sixers at number 3. To the dismay of some people around here. Personally, me, I'll drop what I have to say first. Am I satisfied with this pick? I'm satisfied with it. I think he is the most NBA-ready player to fit in, especially what the Sixers are doing. It's going to be interesting to see how they formulate a lineup, which we'll talk about. But I don't hate the pick. I don't love the pick. It's an okay pick. I don't like the pick either. So that's just where I stand. But that's why I have you here, Joe. I want to know what you feel about this pick, about the Sixers taking VJ Edgecombe.
I honestly, out of all their bad picks, I think this was the worst one.
Oh my gosh.
This is the most degrading, most disappointing pick that they've taken in the past 10 years. And that includes Jahlil Okafor. That includes Markelle Fultz. That was an absolute dog coming out of college, by the way. And nobody questioned if they should have traded for the first pick. Whether they should have stayed and took Jason Tatum, that's another question. But Markelle Fultz was the consensus number 1 pick at that time. Ace Bailey, forget Ace Bailey. VJ Edgecombe. This reminds me of when the Sixers kept drafting bigs. Jahlil Okafor, Nerlens Noel, Joel Embiid. What are you going to put one at the 3? Now, if all goes well, you got Tyrese Maxey, you got Jared McCain, and you got VJ Edgecombe. Jared McCain was going to be the hands-down Rookie of the Year last year. Tyrese Maxey was a great pick and is a star. Where does VJ Edgecombe fit in the grand scheme of things? He's another small guard. The problem with Jared McCain is that we don't like him on the court with Tyrese Maxey because we're too little. So now we're going to put another little guy in there at the 3? It doesn't make sense to me. Let me ask you something.
I wouldn't say he's little. I mean, he's 6'5".
For the 3, he's not big.
No, that would be it would present a challenge, especially if you're going to put Paul George at the 4. So,
and now if you had Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey with Paul George and Ace Bailey, you feel comfortable with Joel Embiid on the backside. If you wanted to, I understand VJ Edgecombe is a great defensive player, whatever. If you wanted to, you could have had Ace Bailey play that role. He's a natural, gifted athlete that's good on the defensive end, and he can score naturally. So he would have fit that role. You know, I understand he might have did some things to, offset some teams or whatever. But at the same time, I like that attitude. I like the fact that you want to be the star. No, we're taking you anyway, and we're going to show you how to win, young fella. I like your spirit, but you got to settle down. We're going to show you how to win first, and then you can go be that guy. Kind of like Jason Tatum did when he went to the Celtics. Jason Tatum went to the playoffs right away, and he showed a name for himself, and he built a name. Ace Bailey's not going to be nowhere in Utah. Nobody knew about Donovan Mitchell.
True. I mean, but he was able to blossom, and maybe a story like that could possibly happen. But for Ace Bailey, right?
Man, hold on. This motherfucker's here.
All right, so we're back. But like I was gonna say, I think if you're Ace Bailey, right? With your agent, that's fairly a new agent, trying to command and demand, acting like you have leverage when you didn't really accomplish much in college. It says a lot, and it does. It really does about, I guess, what he was trying to perceive and what he was trying to gain from the draft. But I mean, his demands, it looks like it kind of got met as he's going to Utah. And the demands, I mean, is like, him trying to be the star player and having the chance to, show his talents and skill sets. So, he'll definitely be able to do that in Utah. So, for Utah, I mean, that's like a home run. I mean, they had like the worst record in the NBA last year, and now, to get Ace Bailey, that's kind of already like that could be looked at as a number 1 pick in other drafts. So, I mean, for Utah, it makes out well. Maybe that can even work out with him. You would think it's kind of funny though, a kid from New York or upstate New Jersey and stuff having to get shipped out over there. It's kind of funny, but I mean, it's what happened, Joe. I mean, we're stuck with VJ, whether you like it or not, and I'm gonna give it a chance because I think it does have it's gonna be interesting to see how Nick Nurse pushes this all together. But I mean, overall, I mean, they're gonna need some more help on the front court just because Joel's not gonna be able to handle everything, and I just like you were saying, like playing small ball and maybe even having Paul George play the 4. It's kind of like the Knicks setup, and we saw how that did not work against the Pacers and stuff. So like small ball isn't always the answer for things, but it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, like from what I saw on the tape with Edgecombe, which makes me like him as a player. I mean, he is a dog. He's going to hustle every play. He's going to try and make the plays, the scrappy plays. I mean, as a rookie, he may not light up a stat sheet or anything, but I still think he has potential, and to groom him into becoming a good NBA player, I think there's a big possibility.
This nothing against Edgecombe for me. Mm-hmm. It's just he wasn't the best available, and right. He wasn't the best fit either.
We'll see about. I mean, I don't know.
On paper, on a basketball team,
right?
Where does he go? If you got 1 through 5 natural positions, small forward, that you want some height and athleticism, and Ace Bailey gave you both.
He did for sure. I mean, it's what Daryl Morey wanted. I think the rumblings from his camp kind of created this situation where he was able to get drafted at number 5. I mean, like even the Hornets, denying a visit with them and stuff, that just like, and them taking Knuppel, that was pretty, I didn't see that coming either. So, I mean, I kind of thought the Hornets were going to take him, but, they ended up taking Knuppel, which might actually fit what they're trying to do down there better. So, I mean, it's just kind of tough to call. But, like I said, I want to give Edgecombe a chance. I do. I mean, he played very well last year. He was a Big 12 Freshman of the Year. He put up 15 points on a really good Baylor team. So, we're going to have to wait and see. But Joe, we gotta wrap things up.
The third pick.
We gotta wrap things up, Joe.
I just got a lot to say, man.
I understand, and we'll have more time to talk about it too. But I mean, yeah, need some self-reflecting for us as Sixers fans moving forward and seeing how.
Don't call me that anymore.
You're not a Sixers fan anymore.
You see this?
Yeah.
They lost the keys to my heart.
So dramatic, but all right. I mean, listen, I'm gonna give it a shot with Edgecombe. We'll see, but you hit that blunt, and we're gonna call it a show.
All right.
But I appreciate you coming on, man.
I'm done.
We'll be talking about this. But all right, Joe.
This doesn't sound good.
Well, that's why we all tune in. But here we are, and we are here to talk about the pay-per-view coming up this week. But I want to introduce the world to the one and only Jon Carlo Esco. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good, brother. Real good today. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Trying to enjoy my Friday night. Getting this little session in, doing some takes. It's gonna be a fun time. But like I was iterating, we do have International Fight Week this week, so. We all know about the main event, Oliveira and Topuria. That's going to be a banger. We've been waiting for that. We talked about that a little bit in the previous episodes. But, it's a big weekend for UFC. I mean, it's almost like a big convention. They all gather. It's a real entertaining and cool time for fans and stuff. Getting more in touch with the fighters and seeing firsthand experiences. And, it's really cool how this thing is breaking down. And I just want to dive in and think, see what you think about some of the fights and some things to expect coming up in this pay-per-view coming up.
Well, let's get into it. I mean, the phenom Joshua Van coming back in on less than a month's notice to fight the number one contender at 125, Brandon Royval. That is something to be excited about.
For sure.
It is something to be excited about. He has come on the scene and made a lot of noise. If he can win this fight, statement win. Right. Statement win, and he's right in title contention. Brandon Royval, if he wins, cool. You're going to get the next shot. He's already the number one contender. The co-main event, Kai Kara France versus Alexander Pantoja. The 125 division is getting pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I know you already have Royval and Van on the undercard. Now you have the championship fight.
Right.
This could be a title eliminator, Van and Royval. So, Kai Kara France has a puncher's chance. Don't get me wrong.
You think so?
And I know how Dana is looking for his next guy. Strikers, he is rooting for Kai Kara France. Book it.
Oh yeah, you're saying book it?
No, I'm not booking like Kara France is going to win, but I know that Dana's rooting for him because he likes strikers, he likes flashing.
Exactly.
Nobody has really figured out the Pantoja puzzle lately, and I don't know if this is the matchup to do it.
No, I don't think so. Pantoja's he's legit. He's solid. He's definitely had his little reign going on here.
He figures it out. He just takes his time and figures you out.
Yeah, he's very cerebral with his fighting style.
Some call it boring. I call it tactical and smart.
I mean, that's how you win. But like you said, in terms of what Dana White's looking for, though, he's kind of wants more of a flashy type of knockout to, appease the audience.
Yeah. And then we get to the main event.
Yes.
What have we been waiting for? Ilya versus Charles. It's not Ilya versus Islam like we really wanted.
Right.
But Ilya versus Charles. The betting odds, I think, are a little disrespectful to Charles, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit, because I'm looking at plus 400, plus 350, things like that, and I'm like, Oliveira's been at this division.
Right.
He's been a champion at this division.
It's a good bet.
I think he deserves a little respect on his name.
Right.
But until Ilya loses, how can you really go against it, really?
I know, I hear you.
It's tough.
It's tough. I mean, him moving up and even doing what he's doing now, it's, definitely something to take notice of. But I mean, you think the odds may be swaying a little bit just because of Oliveira's age and stuff?
Definitely could be, and just remember, Oliveira's been beat 10 times.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've seen him.
Out, but how to beat him.
Yeah, I mean exactly. I was about to say that.
But the man can still crack.
No, for sure. And if anything too, I mean, Topuria is a tactical fighter as well. But I mean, if the fight does extend for to the later rounds and stuff, I think that kind of almost could favor Oliveira too, just especially with the experience factor.
It definitely could. And if the fight goes to the ground, I'm very curious to see what this ground game looks like. I'm curious.
For sure. I mean, it's definitely gonna be interesting. I mean, I'm still gonna be tuned in. I think this is gonna be a really good fight. Could be the fight of the summer.
Could be. I mean, we have some bangers this summer, but this is a hell of a way to start it off.
No, for sure. So, no, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I just believe that Ilya is going to chase Islam until he gets that fight. I don't care. I don't know what the weight class is. I feel like he's going to chase him.
Yeah.
Would that come back to bite him in the ass? 110%.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, he still has stuff to do. I mean, like, to beat Oliveira and, you know, go from there. And, I mean, like you said, to chase him, you know, it's kind of like, I guess he just wants to make that point and prove. I know things are getting kind of, you know, there's some bad blood going on between them and stuff, too. So.
I respect Ilya for moving up and daring to be great. Right. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You know, that's where I think he gets the respect from everybody.
Right.
He's daring to be great. He didn't care who he fought. It could have been Islam. It could have been Charles. It could have been Justin Gaethje. Right. It doesn't matter. He was ready for that at any point.
No, for sure. And then you got to give him props for that, like you said. All right, so I did want to talk about something that did kind of shake up the world in the fighting in the UFC world that we didn't really see coming. Well, maybe, possibly, just because of how things have been breaking down and, you know, the unpredictability of this person, the GOAT, Jon Bones Jones, retiring. That was really abrupt. I mean, I understand, you know, there's been some contract negotiating about him fighting Tom Aspinall, but now that's all gone. So I want to know, what do you think about that?
I think that Jon Jones and Dana White and the UFC have had a tumultuous relationship, to say the least.
Yeah.
That Jon Jones at this point in career wants what he wants, which would have been the Pereira fight or somehow finding Ngannou.
Right.
I just believe he wanted what he wanted. Do I think he should have gave Aspinall a shot? Sure.
Right.
But the man has nothing left to prove. Look at the resume. Shogun Rua, Lyoto Machida, Rampage Jackson, Sugar Rashad Evans, Cormier twice.
Right.
Even though one was a no contest, the man still beat him.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but, you know, Gustafsson twice.
Right.
What else does he have to prove? He has nothing left to prove.
That's why he's the GOAT, man.
Why he's the GOAT. He's been a champion, suspended or not suspended, for the better half of my adult life. So, I mean, do I wish they would have fought? Yes. Do I think Aspinall's happy this is how he got the belt?
No. It seemed like he really wanted to fight. He was ready to step in there with him. I think he really thought he was going to give it to him.
7 years younger and probably 30 to 40 pounds heavier, and he's quick. Who wouldn't want that fight? Because you're going to feel like you have all the advantages. Yes.
No, for sure. I mean, a lot of people say he's ducking and stuff, but I mean,
Jon Jones fights. Jon Jones fears no man.
I agree. I mean, if they were to square up in the street, I mean, I think, you know.
Yeah,
I think that notion would come to light, but it's just, I don't know. I guess I thought they were actually gonna fight. Personally, I didn't know that, like, you know, I guess Dana White just didn't want to pull the string anymore, and, you know, I guess, like you're saying, that just the relationship that they have, and, you know, the past history of Jon and in and out, and you know, the trouble trouble inside and out, steroid. It's just so much. But I guess that's how this book closes. I'm not really, you know what I mean? I didn't expect it to close this type of way.
I'm not sure the book is closed either. Okay, there is one little note I want you to take note of. Jon Jones is represented by Richard Schaefer.
Right.
For those who are not familiar, Richard Schaefer is the former, it's like CEO of Golden Boy Promotions, which is boxing.
Right.
He wants his guy to get paid.
Right.
And at the end of the day, love Dana White. Think he's a great promoter. Gives the fans what they want. The guys need to be paid.
Right, and that's been a big black cloud over his, you know.
Right. And Richard Schaefer does not play. He also worked with Floyd Mayweather. Okay, so he's going to get his guys paid.
Right.
Do I think the door is completely closed? No, I personally don't. Do I see if Aspinall loses to like a Cyril Gain, or if Francis comes back? Do I see Jon maybe like itching? Maybe. I think it's a TBD. You know, because remember, the guy's been out of the octagon for 3 years before came back and won in less than 5 minutes. So
right.
You can't rule him out at any point.
No, for sure. I mean, he'll always be. It seems like he'll always be fighting fighter writing.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that got me questioning him was him walking off a podcast when they said Aspinall's name.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, Jon. We got to be a little better than that.
Not a good look, but I mean, for the most part, I think
when it does, and I don't like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why people are trying to say, oh, maybe he's ducking, and you know.
Exactly.
But you know, at the moment, until the book reopens, the career of the GOAT, you know, you can't hang forever, man. Like Tom Brady went, you know, everybody, you know, there's a time where everyone's got to go, you know. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take the UFC some time to recover because they don't have a star right now. No. I do think the UFC's struggling a little bit because they don't have that star. We're hoping it was Sugar Sean. Conor McGregor, who knows what the hell he's doing?
No, they need a polarizing star. I mean, like, overall, they're still doing very well in terms of, you know, what they're putting out in terms of product. But you're right, you know, and I'm sure Dana White would love that too.
Yes. So until then, they're going to be in a little bit of a holding, like a little bit of a not a stalemate, but it's going to be a little bit of transition to this new era-ish.
No, for sure. But all right, JC, we got to wrap things up here. I appreciate you coming on and dropping your UFC knowledge.
Appreciate you for having me, Joffey.
Absolutely, man. Until next time, my friend.
All right, my man.
All right.